Hey, thank you for joining us today for Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz.
And entrepreneur Breezy Gipson right here.
And we're glad that you've tuned in, got it radio dial locked in, and super huge shout out to our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And it's just a tremendous time we got lined up for you. Of course, there's going to be music industry news, beats by yours truly, and then we also have a special guest joining us today.
Oh yeah. That one and only the entertainer, the stage performer, the one and only Duff.E in the house.
Yes, so we're definitely excited to bring this show to you. And, hey, without any further ado, what do you say we just go ahead and get to it?
Yeah, push a button.
All right, let's go. we're back with music industry news. Been a lot of different things kind of buzzing around. We've selected the best of the best for you. Universal Music Group has generated $2.93 billion just in the second quarter of this year. So that figure was up 8.8% from the same quarter last year. And there was a 13% boost in subscription streaming revenue, which was, hey, that's always a good thing. And a 12.1% gain in its merchandising and other revenue segments. So those were the key leaders. Overall recorded music revenue, which includes streaming plus physical and all that, were $2.26 billion, which was up 10.9% from the same quarter last year. So, a lot of big changes. It's kind of good to compare exactly where they are now to where they were last year, so we can see the changes overall, not just from quarter to quarter. And hey, with all that kind of growth, that means that things are looking up. I think people are spending their money on music or spending their time streaming it. So, hey, it's always kind of good to watch what the biggest music companies are doing to kind of gauge where the industry's at.
Well, yeah, hey, it never hurts to follow success.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if they're showing a model that is productive as far as income is concerned, profits and so forth, hey, might as well.
Yeah. All right. The U.S.-based performance rights organization BMI is in renewed sales talks. So last August, they were talking about selling, and they wanted somewhere between $1.5 billion to $3 billion, but they weren't getting the offers that they wanted, so they just went ahead and shut down talks. 2 months later, after that, was when they announced that they were switching to a for-profit model, so that way it would be a more attractive acquisition target, in quotes. So now they're starting to get back out there. Now they changed the business model, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did snatch it up, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. People are always talking about ASCAP. I think BMI would like to be mentioned more frequently, just as ASCAP is, or maybe even CSAC for that matter. But yeah, we'll kind of keep an eye on that and see where it goes. What do you think, Breeze?
Well, documentation beats conversation every day. So once they show a track record of success, then it's okay. But before they do that, and it's only conversation and talk, then you sit back and watch.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's totally flowing the way that you want it to flow in order to transfer something like that to you yourself. So, but hey, always remember, documentation beats conversation every day.
Absolutely. All right, Utopia. I mentioned with the last time that we talked about this that, hopefully we'd see some changes with some of the changes that they've been making, the tweaks that they've been making to their business. But unfortunately, they've called in liquidators at their R&D divisions in the UK and Finland. So sources say that the R&D division staff expected to get their regular monthly salary on Tuesday, July 25th, but instead they were told to pursue the appointed liquidators for the wages that they're owed. So the R&B department in Stockholm is going to remain the main hub of its research and development. Roughly 5% of the staff were cut from this new thing, but remember we told you last November, Utopia had laid off 20% of its workforce, and then again in April it dropped 15% of its employees. And at its peak, Utopia had around 1,200 employees, but now they're down to somewhere between 430 and 440 people. So unfortunately, these tweaks that they've been making haven't been seeming to help. We'll have to see what's gonna go on, going forward. But man, they've just been selling things back, after making all these acquisitions. So I believe it's been 3 companies that they've offloaded within a short time frame after they purchased them. And then, we keep seeing these staff cuts on top of that. So it looks like one of those things that they bit off a lot more than they can chew, and they're trying to correct it. We'll see what happens.
Well, sometimes in the business world, a business can grow too fast. And it can grow much faster than what its foundation can actually support.
Mm.
And so when that happens, it's not a good thing. So slow growth is better than any growth. But when you have rapid growth, then there's always room for improvements or room for disasters. So, hey, take it slow.
Yeah, good advice. All right, Activision is suing a music critic to fend off his claims for TikTok audio copying. So the video game maker Activision sued an internet personality named Anthony Fantano, I believe is how you pronounce it, in response to him threatening that he was going to sue the company. So what Activision is doing by suing him is seeking a declaration that syncing his viral audio clip to one of its TikTok videos doesn't violate his publicity rights or even imply that he endorsed the company, because TikTok's terms of service allow it to use the audio, and any reasonable person wouldn't think that he was actually endorsing Activision or the video. So this is kind of an interesting case because depending on how this goes, it can set a precedent. The audio is there for people to use. I don't understand who doesn't understand that anytime they upload these videos. Not all of it, I guess, remains your sole property. A lot of this is included in the terms and services that many people tend to ignore. So just because a company decided to use it doesn't mean that you're owed more money, or people are going to think, oh no, this guy's endorsing them and maybe I was mad at them because they didn't give me a refund for this game I didn't like or something like that. But it's definitely something that could set a precedent. I believe that Activision is in the right to use it, but we'll have to see what a judge says. What do you think?
Well, it's in the hands of the judge, so I not too much I can say about that until it's thoroughly reviewed and thoroughly decided on. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I guess my biggest concern is if he were to win a complaint like that, then going forward, who's to stop people from suing, other users from reusing audio, in TikTok and Reels. So, it could be a slippery slope. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, it's definitely, there's a broader picture at hand here with this. And so, yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, it's not going to be just a slam bam court case. That's going to be long and drawn out with all of the statistics and criteria involved and so forth. So let me get my box of popcorn, so I can sit back and eat some popcorn and watch that one.
Yeah. All right, so good news. Sound Exchange has collected over $1 billion in digital royalties from over 3,600 streaming platforms last year. So, couple things. That's a lot of money, and 3,600 streaming platforms. That's how much they've collected from it. That's not even saying that that's, everything that's out there. But I just kind of want to reiterate something that we've been sharing and kind of repeating since the beginning. There's a lot of streaming platforms out there. So, you definitely have to think bigger than the ones that we hear about more frequently, especially in the US. Because, half the time if you ask somebody where their music is, they might say everywhere. And really, they just mean Apple, Spotify, Tidal. Or, you know what I mean? Like some of the major ones that we buzz about around the US a lot, but there's so many out there. So just to give you a clear cut idea of the volume that we're talking, 3,600 streaming platforms Sound Exchange was able to collect digital royalties for. So the president and CEO of the company says that the resurgence of live music last year was a significant contributing factor, and the fact that the organization has been persistent in trying to advance fairness for creators in Congress. So in total, with this new figure that they got last year, it brought them over the $9 billion mark in royalty payments since its inception in 2023. So they've collected over $9 billion in the last 20 years. That's incredible. That's great. To make sure that the money's actually meeting the creators as it's supposed to. And yeah, just a lot of interesting tidbits in that story, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, see, the big dogs, though, they're going to want to make you think that they're the only ones doing these things. They're the only ones in business. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones that are capable But as we know, you know, when you research, you can find a lot of other businesses, business opportunities, businesses that are up and running that can do the same job with high standards for lower costs, okay, for lower entwinements. And so, you know, you just have to do your due diligence, look at track records and so on and so forth. But definitely, no matter what kind of business it is, the big dogs are going to want to make you think that they're the only ones that can do it proficiently. So take your time and search. You never know what you might come up with that would be more amicable to you as an artist, other than just running to the big dogs. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent point. All right. And, I think it's kind of important to share some of these particular stories, even though it's not directly industry related, but we do tend to see things like this happen in the industry, and it kind of serves as a reminder. It's kind of hard to double dip and do music and crime at the same time without it catching up to you. But rapper G Herbo faces 25 years in prison for using stolen credit cards, and he pled guilty to using stolen credit card information from the dark web for private jets, exotic car rentals, a luxury vacation rental, and expensive designer puppies. So as part of his plea deal, he's agreed to forfeit almost $140,000, which is the amount he used in a $1.5 million scheme that involved other people. So, it can be tempting to try to look like you're living larger than you are, but man, you got to be careful when you dip into doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing in order to give an appearance of something that's not really there.
Absolutely, positively. When your means does not support your living, that's a dead giveaway right there. No matter where you are, when your means does not support the living and the lifestyle, flags come up. People start watching, but people from specific other places, they watch too. Okay, and when they watch, they're not going to say anything to you. Right. All they're going to do is just amass data on you.
Yeah.
So, got to be careful.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing, don't even do it in the first place.
Right.
There you go.
You're like, I'm not endorsing that at all, but yeah.
Don't even do it in the first place.
Yeah.
If you ain't got it, then just be satisfied right there on and take some action towards getting and having a better means of living and lifestyle.
Right.
But don't do it nefariously though.
Right. Because now, your reputation's a little tarnished. If you're talking about having all this money in your music, but really you just got it from stolen credit cards, then yeah. So unfortunately, that desire will have some lasting effects that he wasn't necessarily counting on. So yeah, just a note out there, like Breezy said, don't do it, and just be careful with what you are doing.
Absolutely, positively.
All right, Live Nation. I feel like we've talked about them a lot over the last few months, but they're expected to become the focus of an antitrust suit from the U.S. Department of Justice by the end of the year. So we had known that this would probably be coming. There's been talks about it, but this is the first time that we actually have a solid timeline. But yeah, the DOJ intends to claim that Live Nation is abusing its power in the live music industry, and that a new case could lead to the company's breakup amid their numerous legal battles already. So yeah, I think it was like last November when we had talked about this initially, but now this news that they actually have a time frame of getting it done comes right after they announced their positive second quarter earnings. So it revealed that their Q2 revenue was up 27% to $5.6 billion. The concert division was $4.63 billion, which was up 28% from the same quarter last year. Ticketing, which, that's what they're referring to it as, but they're talking about Ticketmaster, brought in $709.3 million, which was an increase of 23%. And their sponsorships and advertising brought in $302.9 million, which was an increase of 13%. So, first this news came out that they were doing well, the stock started going up, and then the announcement about the DOJ bringing the suit made the stock drop. And so, yeah, we got to see how this plays out, because they are massive. If you just take a second and Google what Live Nation owns, you can find there's a report by the SEC that's 10 pages long, just full of their subsidiaries and different divisions and all of that. So, again, we got to wait and see how it plays out. But they own a massive amount. So, if they dig into this and say that it's not fair, they're dominating live music the way that they are, then they might be forced to kind of sell off some of those things, particularly Ticketmaster. So we'll kind of have to see how that goes. Something like that can really hurt a lot of those gains that we just mentioned. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting case. You mentioned getting out the popcorn, Breezy. You might want to leave it out because this is definitely going to be something to pay attention to.
Yeah. Hey, let me get some more butter going.
Yeah. The jumbo supersize.
That's right.
All right. And Spotify CEO Daniel, I've never known how to pronounce his last name, full disclosure, but he sold $100 million worth of Spotify shares. And SEC filing actually revealed that he sold 675,000 shares via DGE Investments Limited, which was an entity indirectly wholly owned by him. So nobody else owns it, but that's how he chose to sell it. He disclosed the information, but supposedly it's just because he knows that Spotify is doing so well. I guess other people are going to want to invest, but hey, it's still important to know that he sold $100 million worth of shares.
Okay.
Exactly. What does that mean? What's going on? What you doing? Yeah, I'd like to know the same thing as well. But yeah, as we get more information, we'll definitely dole it out to you. All right, and this last news story is kind of on the heels of opportunity. AudioMac has been doing a lot of partnering up, but this time they've partnered up with Love Renaissance to discover and develop emerging artists. So it's an Atlanta-based record label and a management company. The label's going to leverage AudioMac's Artist Rank system to discover and develop emerging musicians. And Artist Rank differentiates itself from other analytics by emphasizing engagement metrics instead of just solely play growth. So that way it'll let external partners kind of identify when an artist is building a lasting fan base. So it provides detailed data on the fan demographics and predictive data that interpret the artist's potential trajectory for additional development. So with their resources, they can say, okay, yeah, this person has a lot of plays, but maybe it's just from different people. They're not actually coming back to listen, which is something that a lot of people leave off when they say, oh, numbers don't lie. Yeah, they do, depending on how you're looking at it. So theirs actually kind of cuts above the noise to show you someone that has staying power. So the fact that they actually took the time to develop this, to do this, shows you what different partners are looking for. So, you can do the gimmicky stuff, which might get you the initial boost, but if people aren't coming back to listen, that also sends a signal. So, when the record labels are investing in these people, and that's exactly what they're doing, they're not giving anybody money, but they're investing because they want to see a return on their investment. And the best way to do that is to have somebody that's going to keep people coming back and not just streaming and, going away from it and never clicking again. So, once again, it's a good thing to kind of watch and see what's happening in the industry so you can kind of gauge where things are at and know where to focus your own efforts.
How about that? Sounds really, really good. Yeah. And I'd like to give some shout outs to our radio guest from last week, Miss Oiku Dogen, and broadcasting, joining us straight out of Rome, Italy. and made some shockwaves last week. And she got a lot of responses from her radio interview with us. And so that delights us totally. And so, just as a follow-up, we want to say thank you for taking that time to join us. And we hope that your listeners and followers in Italy and around the globe really enjoyed hearing you sit in with us. Yeah, and I just wanted to remind everybody here, in case you missed that awesome and amazing interview last week with singer, jazz pianist, songwriter, lyricist Oiko Dogan. Be sure to go to Achickwitbeatz.com, scroll over to the right side of the website, click on Music Marvels Radio Show, and then go through the show archives on Achickwitbeatz.com, and you'll be able to find that awesome and amazing interview from last week, as well as several others. Okay? So what you think?
Absolutely. All right. And so, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. And then after that, we'll be back with our special guest.
The one and only entertainer par excellence, Duff.E. This is Breezy Gipson from the Breeze team. How would you like to see an online platform that brings you people who've already indicated that they're interested in your particular type of business?
Whether it's your music you're selling, hip-hop clothing, you got a restaurant or a cafe, or if you're an entrepreneur or agent for a business. Visit me at breeze2cheese.com. That's using the number 2, breeze2cheese.com, or click my bio link on my Instagram profile to see a live demo of how this can help you get more customers and make more money.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen.
Hey, right here one more time. We're right in the spotlight with somebody who is a chief stage performer, a chief music artist. And hey, I can't.
I forgot my blowhorn.
We can't prolong this any longer. With us, ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased on this global interview to have the one, the only Duff.E to join us today. Duff.E, what's up? How are you?
What is up? I'm doing great.
Okay. Glad to have you in the house.
Appreciate that. It's hot. Where are you guys at right now?
And I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's still pretty warm up here.
And I'm in Atlanta. So, hey, let's stir it up, man. Let's stir it up. Okay. So now, share with our listeners a little bit about who Duff.E actually is. Where'd you come from? And, what is it that you represent on Earth today, Duff.E?
Absolutely. I am Dustin Duff.E, a.k.a. Duff.E, DUFF.E, the one and only. I am originally from Dade City, Florida. I live in Tampa, Florida, but I've been all over the United States. I've lived coast to coast. I'm real big into traveling, real big into music, arts, and I love a good view. So anytime I can get close to a beach, I like to go.
Okay. Well, as our tradition, we let the Achickwitbeatz come out with the first real question. So, Achickwitbeatz, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, since you mentioned your love of travel, how would you say that that's affected you musically, as far as like inspiration goes?
Inspiration-wise, it's been great because everywhere you go, different regions, different states, there's all different sounds that you learn and you get to pick up on. And you get to work with different artists who have different flavors with their style of music and what they put out and their craft. So it does influence a lot because I like that influence. I like to learn new things. I like to try new things. I like to incorporate different sounds, but my sound is very down south, very dirty south, twerk music, party music. That's my number one main kind of music that I create and my craft.
How important would you say that is right now, especially since we're kind of starting to see a shift? For a while there, like a lot of the popular music was just very slow, but it seems like people are kind of wanting to break out of that. Would you agree? Like, does that fit with what you've been seeing?
I would definitely agree with that. No disrespect to any artist, but I've never been a big fan of that slow mumble kind of rap. I don't know the term that I want to use. Like I said, no disrespect. I'm not trying to call out any kind of artist or anything, but I like, I don't know. I just like for you to be able to hear the words and to move your body and to be energetic when my music comes on. I like when my music comes on, I like people to jump around. I like people to be hyped. Kind of like we bring in that yin yang twin style back to the forefront.
Yeah, definitely need to, in my opinion.
Okay. So now educate our listeners a little bit about what drew you, what attracted you into music. Were you like an elementary school or like middle school, high school?
Yeah.
Or
So I was obsessed. Funny story, actually. I was probably 9, 10 years old. I love all genres of music too. That's another thing. I love hip hop. I love country. I love rock. I love rap. I don't really care for techno. It's kind of weird. Uh, um, so I actually did a karaoke at a car show when I was probably like 9, 10 years old, and I sang Auctioneer by John Michael Montgomery. It's a country song, a really fast paced country song. Uh, I can't even remember the words right now off the top of my head, but that was the moment because I killed it at 9, 10 years old. I did my thing and everybody just went crazy at the car show, and that was it. I knew right then and there I was gonna be a music artist of some sort. I knew it was gonna happen for me at that moment, and so I moved from Dade City, Florida to Atlanta, Georgia when I was 14, going on 15. And that is when I was really introduced to the culture. And I was just joyed. And I was that kid that I found out how to, I did everything on my own. I had to figure it out on my own. So I figured out, I was back in the LimeWire days where you would download beats off LimeWire. And I found this recording software where you can only record 4 tracks. And I was determined. I'd make it happen. Like I would record on 3 tracks, and then I would record those 3 tracks to the 4th track, and then erase the first 3. So I would have 3 more tracks to put on my 4. Mm-hmm. Like I would make it happen. And then from there, I graduated. I was not the most financially set individual, so I always had to do everything myself. So I wanted to know how to engineer and all that. So I went to college to engineer. I went to the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Science in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's where I got I'm Tier 4 certified in Pro Tools. And I just mastered it all. And it just hasn't stopped. And I made many connections on the way.
Oh.
Wow. That's strong right there. Achickwitbeatz, go right ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, just that's an incredible journey that you mentioned. And for anybody listening, do you have any advice for them as far as, when to try to DIY or when to actually go forward and, get the certifications and stuff as you have?
I want to be honest, as far as getting all the certifications and the degrees and all that, you don't really have to do that anymore. Everything is so user friendly. You can download Pro Tools, go to YouTube, watch an hour tutorial, and the next thing you know, you can be recording in Pro Tools. Now, when I graduated college, it wasn't really that easy. You still had to hire an engineer that knew how to, mix and master. Nowadays, it's so easy, and people aren't too concerned about having that top crisp sound anymore. So it's just allowed an artist on every corner to pump out a mixtape, which does make the market super saturated. But when you got your own style, you got your own sound, you don't really worry about that kind of competition.
Very well said. I think we need to use that as a soundbite going forward.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so then you progressing through your career and you're making some things happen. So that's a real strong tip about, what you did with the tracks and everything way back then. Okay. So now, I got to ask you this. So now a couple of years ago when COVID kind of came in and people were running, away from the public performances and everybody's working on the inside, were you in behind the scenes creating music then, or share with our listeners just what was going on with you then as opposed to now that all that's over and you're back out there doing your thing. So what happened back then?
Well, I'm gonna get a little personal for a minute with you guys. I actually thought at that moment in time that my music career was gonna be done. So what happened was, and it actually had nothing to do with music. I have a child who lives with autism with special needs, and it really impacted how I was going to move forward as an artist. Because there was a moment in time where I was real nervous because it's hard for me and my wife because, for one, we live in a shaky world, so it's not like we don't trust our child with just anybody. So it really took me away from music because I was so focused on making sure that my child's special needs were attended to first. And it makes it actually very difficult to travel and do shows and do music like that. And then when you said COVID hit, then it really just was kind of flatlined. So while at that moment in time, there's a ton of artists that are progressing their career because they're taking the time to do it during COVID because that's all you can do. I actually fell back at that time, and I was working on the behind the scenes doing a lot of marketing for artists instead of performing and being the artist. And after, when things finally calm down, nobody's worried about the jab no more. You don't got to wear masks no more. It just came back full circle, and my opportunity arose again, and I've been to the wall going hard with it.
Almost like from the window to the wall, right?
To the window to the wall, absolutely.
For real. Achickwitbeatz, you know anything about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now you're working on some projects now, though. Okay, so, fast forwarding a little bit. So, what's going on? What's up with that?
Well, let's see, what year are we in now? 2023. It was 2009 was the first time I met the Yin Yang Twins.
Uh-oh.
And
the real Yin Yang Twin.
Yes, D-Rock and Kane, the real Yin Yang Twins. So I had a little controversy with a major artist, Young Dro from Hustle Gang. I got the call. I was in Clearwater, Florida. We did some shows down there, and got a call, and we had a little issue that we were trying to work out. Riding Dirty Radio from Hot 107.9 in Atlanta, Georgia contacted me. I came up and did an interview on the radio, and got done with the interview. Went back to Kennesaw, Georgia, where I had some people up there working, and I got a call that day from the DJ, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Collie Park wants to meet you." I was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, "Yeah." I was Collie Park. I was like DJ Smurf, like Collie Park, Bubba Sparks, and he was like, "Yes." I was like, "No way." I was like, "Yeah, he wants this is his number. I need you to call him right now." I was like, "All right." So I called him up, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" And he was like, "This is Duff.E. I heard your interview, and you have a sound that I need. I need your sound real quick." I was, "All right, what do you want me to do?" He said, "I actually want you to come to the studio right now." I was like, "Okay, so how far is that?" And it gives me the address. I was like an hour and a half away. I said, "Oh, dang. Whew. I got $5 and 5 CDs left. I gotta make it all the way an hour and a half from Kennesaw, Georgia, down to College Park, and or College Park." So then I hit the gas station that was on the corner of the road. It was a Shell station. I sold all 5 CDs for $2. I put the $15 I had in my gas tank. I made it all the way to the studio. Sat down. He's like, played some beats for me. I'm just kind of quiet, just hearing them out, seeing what you got to talk about. And next thing I know, Yin Yang Twin walks in the door. And this was after I had already met him. We did a show at a place called Runaround Sue's in Marietta, Georgia. We opened up for Yin Yang. That was when I first got to meet him. And then when they walked in, he said, "That's what you're doing today." I was like, "What? What do you mean that's what I'm doing today?" He said, "That's what we're doing today, Yin Yang." I was like, "Oh, snap. All right, let's do it." And played the beat, and then I'm on the spot. It was like, "Yo, you got to deliver." I hopped in the booth, the same booth that Britney Spears recorded in, the same booth Soulja Boy recorded in, the same booth Yin Yang records in. And I just closed my eyes and did my thing. And I ended up getting 2 songs on their album, Aston Session. I got a song called Like a Yin Yang Song, which was produced by DJ Scientist, which we couldn't do anything with because every 4 bars is sampled from all the famous Yin Yang songs. So that was kind of amazing to be able to rap on the Whistle While You Twerk instrumental and stuff like that. And then we did my single with them, which is called Wet T-Shirt, and provocative party music. But it just does something to the crowd every single time. So I know this is a little long-winded. So that was like when it began, when it was like, all right, so I'm just introducing myself, we working, we dropping stuff, and here we are, 2023, and I'm now signed to D-Rock. He started his own label called Too Lit Entertainment, and then he signed me to his label. Now, all these years, I've done many shows with the twins. I've done a lot of back-end marketing. Anytime anybody in the family has a new business they want to start, I'm usually the one that people come to get a website built, to get some social media marketing going, because it's just kind of my skill set. And D-Rock hit me, he said, hey, it's time for you. It's time for Duff.E. I was like, let's go. So it's been about 8 months now. I've recorded a few songs, and we work real seamlessly together. And I messaged D-Rock literally like it was. I bounced out the track at 5:30 this morning, and I sent it to him. He immediately read it, and listened to the song and hit me back. Said, "That's the one. That's it. That's it." So I like, that's a great feeling when you record a song 5:30 in the morning. I'm gonna shoot it off to the Yin Yang Twins, to D-Rock and the Yin Yang Twins. I'm gonna say, hey, let me know what you like, what you don't like. I'm gonna try something new, and I'd be ready. I'd be ready with my notepad to. I'd be ready with my notepad to, all right, what do you want me to change? And he's like, I don't want you to change nothing. I love it. Next song. Let's get it.
That's what's up.
So, yeah.
Man, look, man. Hey, this is chapter 1 of the Duff.E experience, okay? Because on our show, because, hey, the door is open for you to come through anytime you want, man. When you got news or things that you're working on, and when you just want to kick back and put your feet up and just share some stuff, man. Because
I got stories for days.
Whoa!
I got stories for days. And when me getting into the industry, it kind of became an obsession. It was like, I don't care so much about to being a rapper that everybody knows my songs. Like, just put me in the industry, and one way or another, put me in the industry, because that's just where I belong. It doesn't matter if I'm marketing, if I'm making beats, if I'm rapping. It doesn't matter. I wanted to be in the industry so bad. Like that club that I was telling you about earlier, Run Around Sue's, I used to open up for a lot of artists. I was with Cash Clip, Louis, Blitz, these local artists out in Georgia, and we would just, every weekend we were trying to do showcases. Every other weekend they would bring an artist out, and it was one of us getting to open up for the artist because we just got in so good with the club. It was like, hey, we got an event, Duff.E, you performing? All right, cool, let's go. And I would just boom, boom, boom. And so I remember one night they had Travis Porter and Waka Flocka come through. This is back in the early days, 2010, back in, oh, let's do it. Oh, like when Waka when he first came out. And that was my first time seeing Travis Porter. And oh my God, and Roscoe Dash, that was like I was obsessed. Between the Yin Yang Twins sound and the Travis Porter Roscoe Dash sound, I knew that in between those two styles was Duff.E. And so I ended up, another thing that I do is we break dance on roller skates. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's called jam skating. 2-time national team champion, 2007, 2008. Me and my little brother Raekwon, our dad Kawan Mayo, and we just took off. And so I had presented myself to his name was Charlie. It was Travis Porter's manager. And I said, I got something I want you to see, and I think it would look dope for Travis Porter shows. So he was like, let me see what you got. I threw my skates on. I did a quick little 2-minute set. They said, we're taking you on the road. So I was traveling all through Georgia and Florida with Travis Porter, breakdancing during the middle of their shows. One of my favorite ones, we did the Travis Porter movie premiere with Travis Porter, Little John, at Center Stage Arena in Atlanta. And the whole place was packed, and I knew I had a 30-second set, and I was just waiting for that go shorty, shorty, go shorty, shorty, go. I don't know if you remember that song from Travis Porter, and that was my cue. And I would run, I would slide out backwards on my roller skates, do a big old backflip, start hopping on my hands, doing all. A crowd go crazy every single time. It is like, for any artist out there listening, if you want something different on your stage besides girls twerking or you trying to throw money around, get you a jam skater. People love that. And so then, of course, being in those situations, you get connections. Now I'm at the clubs with other people. I'm sitting at VIP. I'm talking to NFL players. I'm talking to basketball players. I'm talking to people in the industry, all kinds of stuff. So, and I'm always humble enough to know that I can learn something from everybody I talk to. So I'm always all ears. I don't just always have to have the floor. Sometimes I like to just sit there and listen to other people talk. I like to listen to what other people are complaining about, so I don't have to deal with what they're dealing with. And I just really focus and things like that. Another time we opened up for Pastor Troy. I'm opened up, so now I'm in VIP talking to Pastor Troy. The next thing I know, I'm babysitting his son Jordan while mixing down his ringtones on one of his albums in his home.
What?
Yeah, I've been around, and I just, now's finally my opportunity. I paid my dues. I've done the mixtapes. I've done and that's a crazy thing. I have done a lot of music, and then it's not a whole lot of music out there. You got artists that are dropping mixtapes every single month, and they're not making no noise because their business relations suck.
Okay, yeah. Well, look, man, you just opened a door to some fantastic views for all our listeners wherever they are. And so, like I said a while ago, hey, this is just chapter 1, and our door is open. We want you back. Now, where do people go that can go and buy your music from you as is, or follow you on the net, different places where they can keep up with you and then buy your music?
Well, who is Duff.E? WHOISDUFFE. That's my handle on Instagram, on TikTok, and then on Facebook. I usually keep Facebook more geared towards my more business-minded friends, but it's Dustin Duff.E on there. Duff.E with a Y on Facebook. Spotify, DUFF.E. Pretty much anywhere. You just Google me, I'm gonna pop up. I've got songs that go back 10 plus years at this point.
Okay. Well, look, like I say, the clock is just strangling us on the wall right now. So, Achickwitbeatz, you got any final thoughts before we roll out of here?
Yeah, actually, I just want to say I've noticed throughout this entire time we've been talking, there's kind of been an underlying theme of being ready. So, It's one thing to have these opportunities come, but, you've put yourself in a position where you were always ready to capitalize on them when they happen. And I think that's an awesome thing.
If like right now, I like I said at the very beginning, I love to travel, and I always make it so I can travel. That's why I don't have to. The reason why I obsessed with the marketing and doing all that was so I could financially be set. All my bills are taken care of. I don't have to wake up and, I got to go clock in and do this job. Now, I made sure I secured my financial situation. So that way, if D-Rock calls me and says, hey, I need you in Little Rock, Arkansas, sending your ticket. All right, I'm on the way. So I don't, so like you said, got to stay ready. And I'll always be ready.
Okay, and so they can follow you on IG at Who Is Duff.E?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, look, let's stay in touch, man. And that Who Is Duff.E, it'll lead them to your sounds and music and stuff, right?
Yep. You can directly get a hold of me. Make sure you get the account with the little blue check. That way it's actually me.
Okay. All right. Well, look, ladies and gents, you've been hearing the illustrious voice of our guest, Duff.E. He's been sharing, he's been educating, he's been just blowing the place up and everything. But we're gonna keep that door open in the next soon, the soon future, the coming around the corner future. So to have you come back and educate our listeners a little bit more and delve and dig a little bit deeper into this great career you got going on. Thank you so much, the one and only Duff.E with the blue check, for stopping by. Hey, like you said, if it doesn't have that check, it ain't. If it doesn't have that check, it ain't him. So but yeah, and peace be with you in all your travels and everything. And so yeah, thanks for stopping by. One last word from you is.
Be ready. The album's dropping real soon.
Okay.
And if you haven't already, go download D-Rock's new album. It's everywhere. Live mixtape, Spotify, Apple. It's called America's Most Wanted. And I'm just D-Rocking. My album's up next, and I'm on his next one called Do or Die. So be on the lookout for that.
Gotcha. The one and only Duff.E, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.
All right, and that does it for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for joining us. It's been a fabulous time. We thank our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm already looking forward to next week. How about you?
Yeah. The beat never stops, so we're not going to drop. And it's really kind of uplifting. Actually hearing the music industry news, hearing your beats, hearing the voices of our guests, and but we thank you first and foremost, all the listeners, no matter where you are, anywhere around the globe, for joining in with us one more time. And let's kick it.
Most definitely. So till next time, you know where to find us. Tune in, tell a friend. We'll see you then. Peace.